Welcome to this rather unusual Vectric user group meeting, the first of our worldwide user group meetings, obviously all brought to you online. The video we've just watched is obviously a load of scenes from our traditional user group meeting that we've run annually for many years now. The bits and bobs there are from, I think, from Chicago and some from Denver, which was last year's venue. And the idea really is to give you some idea, if you've not been along to one of the user group meetings, what the content is like, and more importantly, what the feel of it is like. So hopefully you get the sense there. A lot of it is about the interactions, the discussions, the little innovations, the inspirational moments that you get from seeing techniques or in other people's bits of work. So we're really hoping that you can enjoy all those experiences over the next 3 days. But before I go any further, let's just sort something out that you may have noticed. The sharp-eyed ones amongst you, that's beginning of that video. Who's that? Right? What's going on there? Well, if you've met me before, don't panic. I'm not in disguise. It really is me. So I'm Edward Powell, the Managing Director of Vectric, but what you are seeing is me sporting my fantastic lockdown hair and matching beard. So it's a bold look. I appreciate it's a bold look, and it has divided opinion. I'm not going to lie. I think it looks great, and everybody else thinks it looks terrible. So, as I say, it's a sort of one of those arguments on both sides issues. My radical appearance, though, is not the only thing, obviously, that's radically changed since that video was made. Our working patterns at Vectric have had to change enormously in the last 6 months, as I'm sure your work and home lives have changed for everyone, really, all around the world. It's an absolutely amazing and remarkable situation we find ourselves in. Vectric, like everyone else, pretty much dispersed around the country in March. So we closed the office down and everyone went home. Some of us, in fact, a couple of the team were even overseas and have remained overseas. So we've managed to have a dispersed team that's not even limited to the UK. And so you'll appreciate that most of the team have not met in person since March. But nevertheless, we set about these issues with the usual positive approach of vectricians everywhere. So we have developed a lot of in-house technology to help us with this problem. And I think really it's been remarkably successful. I've been amazed and delighted and really proud of the team in how well they've adapted. And hopefully you will have all seen that we managed to get our 10.5 release out bang on schedule. So a couple of months ago in the summer, the 10.5 release came out exactly as intended. And hopefully I'll cover some of the features in my talk next. You'll see it's a really substantial release, and so great work from everybody involved in that, and I'm really, really impressed with how our normal day-to-day interactions have moved online very, very seamlessly. It was so successful for us that we thought at the time when it started to become really apparent to us that we were not going to be able to host our usual user group meeting in San Diego as we'd planned this month. We were starting to think, well, we really could apply ourselves to this problem and apply our technology and our skills that we have in-house to try and do something positive, not just say, well, we're going to postpone that meeting and abandon it, but let's change it. Let's do something new. Let's convert necessity into a positive experience for everyone. And so we started to plan this online user group meeting, which we are delighted to invite you all along to. Obviously, we're hoping that it's not just a replacement for the existing system, right? So we want to try and capture all those things that we talked about just now in the real meetings, where we have your ability to meet each other, the ability to have spontaneity and freedom of discussion about topics as and when they come up, the ability to have good interactions and good feedback from all the presentation team, and especially the Vectric staff, who will all be on hand throughout the next 3 days on all the live media systems that we've got, but particularly the UGM website, which we'll look at in a second. It's going to be an adventure. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be an adventure. We're trailing a lot of new tech to achieve this, but I'm really confident the team are really good and they're really well practiced. So we're hoping to really impress you all with this event. But it does somewhat remind me of a flight I took a few years ago to Toronto on a British Airways transatlantic flight, and we all were waiting as we pushed back from the departure gate. The captain came on and he sounded quite excited, even though he was clearly an old hand, and he said, "Welcome aboard this brand new Boeing Dreamliner, and you're all extremely lucky because this is only its 3rd flight." And I can remember looking around the cabin and seeing that did not have the reassuring effect on the passengers that he might have hoped. And I still feel somewhat that the system we're about to fly with you guys is a little bit similar, right? So you're in for the ride, and I do hope that you will really participate in this as much as possible. And together we'll make this bird fly for sure. Okay. So hopefully you will have engaged already in the user group meeting dedicated website. So that's ugm.vectric.com. There's a homepage there. It's a very simple login process. So hopefully you will have logged in already and got yourself just some credentials. This is just to allow you to participate and react so interact on the comments and discussions. If not, then use the little login icon up here, and it will just take some very basic details from you and send you an invitation by email, which you use to actually access the site logged in. So hopefully really straightforward, but everyone's around to help if you have any problems. I know we've already got many hundred people already signed up and running on it, so that's great, and welcome to you all. I'm going to take you for a little tour around the site just quickly, just so we all have our same hub over the next 3 days that we can come back to and make the most of it. The core to the site we've done as a little map, so it's kind of like a virtual events field for you to explore. There's the menu bar at the top, which we just saw, but also each of these icons on the main map on the homepage is clickable, and it gives you a sense of the environment that we're all in at the moment. So starting at the bottom, the most important ones I want to highlight to you is this chat tent, where you can go in and just have a forum that's dedicated really to the user group meeting, the content of the user group meeting, and the topics that arise over the next 3 days. It's also an opportunity for you to directly interact with other attendees of our online user group meeting directly, exchange information, find out who's doing similar work to yourselves, find out about techniques and tricks and tips and all that good stuff that you exchange with each other, not just with the Vectric team. There's an opportunity, we'll come on look at that in more detail, but you can create your own topics or suggest new topics, and we'll try and spin those up as and when they get suggested. The other one I want to draw your attention to, and we'll look at again in a second, is the show and tell. So do go there. That's an opportunity for you to post some things of your own. Don't worry about the quality. Everyone is extremely friendly in this community, and you can just post something just to say, this is the sort of thing that I do. Right? It doesn't have to be spectacular. By posting something that shows the sort of thing you do, you'll find other people doing similar things, and then that starts the opportunity for you to exchange useful information. So please don't be shy. Post your stuff there. As we work around, there's also a workshop tour, speakers, etc. But let's take a look at these things one at a time. So meet the speakers. This user group meeting, without any shadow of a doubt, could not have occurred in the form it's in without lots and lots of help from our friends and partners in the CNC world. So I want to take this first opportunity to thank them all in advance. Their support has been absolutely invaluable, and we know they've put a lot of work into the content that they're going to provide to you over the next few days. I'll talk you through each of the speakers a little bit, just very briefly as we go through this presentation. But please do have a look at the profiles here. So every speaker's got their profile. This will give you a feel for what they're interested in, what their topics are. And remember, they'll be available during and after their presentations to chat about the topics that they've discussed. So please do get involved in that through the website, the chat system. We've also got the show and tell, which I mentioned before. Now, this is your bit, right? So this is the bit curated by you, really. We've already had some lovely projects submitted. So again, it's an opportunity for you to pick some projects or some ideas of things that that represent the sort of work that you do. Post them, tell us a little bit about how you made them, the finishes, the woods that you've used, or the other materials that you've used, tooling, anything you like that's going to be of interest. And I guarantee you, almost everything is of interest to somebody. I guarantee you. So please do post your projects there. As soon as we get a little bit of curated time with the staff here, but then they'll come up, and then there's a chat opportunity there as well. So please then do get involved in asking people questions about their projects and also answering questions about your own. And again, over the next 3 days, hopefully this will be a real hub for people to discuss and exchange information. Todd and Anthony, two of our guys from the team, took the opportunity of our deserted office, which is obviously unusually tidy. That's one upside of a deserted office. So they took the opportunity, I think, in fairness, Steph did a lot of the tidying as well, but they took the opportunity to do a tour of the office, in particular the workshop that we have. So we're very, very fortunate at Vectric. So we kind of all work on the top floor, and the ground floor is actually a fairly conventional workshop with a variety of routers. So we have large format routers as well as desktop routers. We also have a sort of R&D area where we get pre-production examples of machines to work on, and we work on our post-processor support for new and upcoming bits of tech. So it's a nice and interesting place to have a little walk round, and Todd's got a tour there for you to watch at some point during the next 3 days. I do recommend it. It's kind of interesting to see the world in which we create the software and the tools we have at our hand as we do so. The chat area, like I said, is really hopefully going to be a key here. Please feel free. Like I said, we've pre-populated it with a few topics, including one where you can introduce yourself and say where you're from. Obviously, the idea here is just to see if there's other people in your region of the world or your part of your country who you might find this is an opportunity to get in touch with them directly, and maybe this is the blossoming of a new and important friendship. So we often get told at our face-to-face user group meetings that this opportunity is one of the most important things that people really value. So we've tried our best to recreate that as well as we can on the online system, and we do hope that this will be an opportunity for you to exchange details with people and maintain contact and keep in touch with people that you meet over the next 3 days, and maybe this will be the beginning, as I say, of a great friendship. It's worth pointing out again at this point that this is going to make or break this meeting. Please do participate wherever you can, as it's your participation that will turn this from a series of, transmits to actually a proper interactive user group meeting, which is what we want to achieve. So I do encourage you all to get involved, and don't feel shy. I promise you these are the friendliest people ever. So nobody will be in any way unpleasant. So do get involved. The last thing I want to say from the site is that we have bundled together quite a bit of stuff, into a downloadable digital sort of assets pack. And that's available from the shop. We've tried to keep the price right down, so it's $49 or the equivalent local currency, depending on where you're from. But in there, we've included every single kind of Vectric presentation stuff. We've included whatever materials we can from the guest speakers. We can't include everything because some things are a bit proprietary, but we've included absolutely everything we can, so that nearly all the materials and the demonstration stuff that you're going to see over the next 3 days is in this pack. We've also put in there a whole load of little bits of clip art. So there's some 3D clip art, and Beck also created for one of her demos an extensive set of 2D sort of iconic clip art as well. The 3D clip art is straightforward design and make professionally produced artists clip art. So that alone from the design and make stable is worth 180 US dollars. So we do think it's really highly good value bundle, and so we'd encourage you, if you can, to go ahead and get that. Make the purchase through the shop and download it through the portal, and that way you can follow along with the demos as we go. Okay, if you don't want the pack, that's also fine. Just attend them and see what you learn from the presentations as you go along. Okay, so that's the sort of main structure of the site. Now let's get on to the main meat and potatoes of this meeting, which is the talks. Okay, so the schedule system is up. There's one on the homepage, a short one on the homepage, and also you can see the main schedule sections with a bit more detail about every talk. Please note that these dates are clickable on the site. Okay, so as you skip across and click these, you'll get the different days. It's perhaps not straightforwardly obvious that they're clickable links, so make sure you do that, and it underlines the one you're looking at. So in this case, we're looking at the lineup for today, Thursday the 24th. Okay, so obviously it starts with me, and then it goes straight into me again at 12. But rather than it all being slide-led, the one at 12, I'll try and keep the slides to a minimum. We're going to crack on through a couple of live demos of software, VCarve and Aspire, and we're going to look at two projects which focus on the new tools that came in 10.5, but in the context of some real-world examples to try and give you a feel for the context in which those tools were created and what we think they're for. Then we have the first of our guest speakers, Michael Tyler. Hopefully you all know Michael from our Projects of the Month, so he's the main creative force behind a lot of those projects. And he's going to take you through a little talk, hopefully to demystify and remove all of your frightening, scary thoughts about how hard it might be to make 3D models in Aspire. So he's going to look at a really lovely example of a project which produces a really nice 3D model, but doesn't require, you do not have to be Michelangelo. So he's going to teach you a technique which is actually reusable across quite a few examples. And in fact, I'm going to use a similar technique in one of my demos. And I think Todd will use a little similar technique just to finish off some of the models we're working on. So it's a general technique, and he's going to talk you through it. This project will not be on the UGM pack because we're going to release this one as a normal project of the month. Okay, so by the time the video starts, you should be able to find that the project files are available free to download in the usual project of the month place. Okay, so as usual with Michael, we want to keep this one available to everybody. Then the next guest speaker we're going to speak to is Matt. So Matt Plumley now works for Tools Today. So he knows a lot of stuff about the practicalities of tool geometry and tooling. But his background actually was in running a very successful Etsy business. So he wants to talk to you actually about the lessons he learned converting his hobby, his simple woodworking hobby, into a successful Etsy business, and the pros and cons of the things he should have done when he started, things he wished he'd thought of before, the materials he used, etc. It's a really good talk. So that one is at 4:30 UK time. I should point out at this point, actually, the slide I have behind the picture here, the times on there are all in British summertime. Okay, the website schedule should show you the times of the talks in your local time zone. Okay, so we'll try and find from your where you're browsing from, we'll try and put the times. They should dynamically change for your local time zone. But if in doubt, then these times are in British summertime, so you can Google that. Not GMT, right? We're +1. But if you Google that, you'll get the times. But hopefully they're at nicely regularly spaced intervals. We space them out throughout the day so that whatever time zone you're in, hopefully there's one or two talks at least that will be in a comfortable, reasonable time of day for you wherever you are in the world. Okay, so that's Matt's talk. Then we've got the first talk actually, which is hosted by our good friend Sammy, and she's going to actually be interviewing JD Chambers, who has a blog and a vlog that some of you may know called Rainfall Projects. So he produces quite a few interesting and unusual designs, and he records the process of how he produced them. So he's going to have a little chat with Sammy about those things. So Sammy's from Avid. We'll come on to her in a sec. She's got another couple of talks as well, and they just discuss the background to some of those projects. It's a nice general discussion of the principles and the practicalities, more importantly, of a lot of CNC projects. Okay, the finer details, focusing on the finer details. This is Todd's from Vectric's first of several talks that he's doing, and this one he's going to look at our hybrid laser machining just to add detail onto the surface. So again, you're going to hear a bit about the laser module over the next few days because it's one of our new additions, and it plugs into a conventional CNC machine. And we're going to look about why we chose to support this particular bit of tech, and why we think it's a really nice addition to your normal CNC opportunities. So Todd's going to start by looking at that. I'll also cover a little bit of this in the 12 o'clock What's New talk. Okay, so I'll touch on it then as well. Okay, now we're back to Sammy again, but this time with Corey, her colleague from Avid. They're going to discuss the issues you need to consider when you're constructing toolpath strategies, specifically for plastics and plywood. So looking at a bit more detail now, getting onto some advanced topics about the decision-making processes that you apply. This is one, again, of a pair of talks that they're going to do about which strategies and which settings on those strategies you need to think about with different material types. And that will be the close for today. And then we'll all have a nice night's sleep, hopefully, up nice and early, depending on where you are in the world, brutally early. But for us, a nice 11 o'clock start after our coffee. And this time we're going to start with Becky, who I'm sure you all know from Vectric, who's created the vast majority of our training videos and is also a long-standing stalwart of our UGMs along with Todd and producing our projects of the month. So she's going to look at making slot together animal shapes, how she went about doing this. This is part of a theme that you'll see develop over the next 2 days, the following 2 days, of looking at animal projects. Okay, so we had a theme here and she will describe that in the talk itself. Then we've got another guest speaker, Jay from JTech Lasers in the US. Again, he's going to talk about the physical, mechanical aspects of getting a laser add-on to your machine and what that involves and entails. And again, that's a sort of partner project for some of the things we'll talk about with what you can do once you have a laser attached to your machine. Then it's over to Todd for the first of two-parter. So he's going to take a photograph and he's going to, of a gorilla, and he's going to build a full but also quite deep, quite high relief 3D model and show you the process he goes through. Again, these are processes that are generally applicable to a whole range of artwork. This is a proper hardcore modelers one, so if you want to get into this, if you genuinely want to start doing the modeling work from Aspire, but Todd breaks it down so you can see what steps are that he uses and make it all very manageable. Then it's me again. Oh dear. And I'm going to try and do something a bit different. I usually have the role of trying to do something a bit unusual. So this time I'm going to take you through the photo V-carving toolpath strategy as standard, but then try and take it to a different level. And hopefully what I'll really do here is sow the seeds in your minds of a lot of interesting things you can do when you start to dismantle that strategy and think about its component parts. So hopefully you'll enjoy that one with me. And then another of our guests, this time Mike Mazalek, who's with Axiom. He's going to talk about assembling a coat of arms. So he's going to look at the other parts of the modeling process now. Originally, some of you will have seen that we had to change the schedule here. So Mike was originally going to talk about converting a photo portrait into a model. But actually, as I said, Todd's covering that to some extent. I'm going to cover it to some extent as well in the What's New. So Mike's going to look at the other part of component modeling, which is how you how you link those models together, how you composite them in the component tree. So hopefully that will be a nice and complementary presentation to the modeling. If you're still interested in that photo stuff and you're a little bit disappointed, don't worry. Like I say, watch Todd's one about the gorilla, which is all the same principles, and watch my What's New, the second half in Aspire, and I'm going to cover a lot of those principles for you. So that's Mike. He's going to finish as well with Axiom cutting that part as well, so you can also get a feel for the toolpath strategies used to make the finished 3D model as well. Then it's over to Adam, our technical director. So Adam has been with the company a long time, so he started right on the dev floor, and he's going to take a look at two features together: the repeated components tech and also our molding toolpath strategy. And he's going to use these to show you how to make flexible, extensible patterns, okay, that are efficient to machine using this technology. Now, Adam is the original developer of both those features, so I really can't emphasize enough that there's nobody better placed to talk you through those strategies in detail. So again, this will probably be quite an advanced topic for those of you who are interested in doing that little step up. But again, I hope you all enjoy it. And like I say, he really is the expert. So plenty there to enjoy, I'm sure. And then another of our guest speakers, Randy, will take over. He's going to do textured bowls. So he's going to make wooden serving bowls with textures and fluting. But the other crucial bit about his demos is they're double-sided. So he's going to do a lot of discussion about two-sided machining to make these thin skin bowls. Randy is professionally been a teacher and tutor in both traditional woodworking as well as specifically with the CNC in recent years, and is associated currently with working a lot with next wave automation. So he has a wealth of experience as well, both in teaching and using the software. So I hope you'll enjoy that. It's a good topic. Again, slightly more advanced, but if you're into two-sided machining, invaluable. And then they're on to the last day, believe it or not. So we're going to start the last day with Mike, who is from the other end of the dev team. So Mike's only just been with us for about a year. So he's kind of new to the dev team, relatively speaking, although he's already contributed a few things. The drag snip tool, which I'm going to show you in the What's New, is one of Mike's creations. So he's already got his fingerprints on the latest version of the software. But he's going to talk to you about the gadgets this time around. So gadgets, for those who aren't aware of them, is the little plugin system we have. They are scriptable commands essentially, and they allow you to do things like automation of existing the tech we have in place for you to do something that's a repeated task, or they allow you to put together things in a more complicated way to achieve something that you'd really struggle to do by hand, and adds precision. So they're a really useful thing to at least be aware of. You can either use other people's third-party ones that we add in, but Mike's going to show you how you can go about at least demystifying the process of starting your own and understanding the basic principles that underpin writing a gadget. Todd's back then with his gorilla head, but this time he's got the finished model, which is quite big, and he's going to show you how we go about cutting that out of sheet material. So he's going to demonstrate in particular slicing of a 3D model and some top tips about how that's done effectively, and then looking at the toolpath strategies, and he'll also show you the actual machining process in this second part. Tim, another one of our regular guest speakers, who hopefully you've seen already on some of his contributions to our projects of the month. He's really famous for his upcycling, so taking older materials, using the CNC machine to either convert those into totally new objects or give them a new lease of life in some way or another. In particular, musical instruments are a common thing that Tim works on. This time around, though, he's going to take on the challenge of a small toy for a child, so a wooden car that he'll talk you through the process, including machining as well. And then Becky's back. Along with the discussion that we had from Matt, so Matt was talking, if you remember, on the first day, later on today, I should say, about the issues of, anyone can make stuff on a CNC machine, but if you want to turn professional, you've got to make stuff effectively, cost effectively on a CNC machine. And that means really you've got to look at some parts of the software which you might not really have spent much time in. Beck's going to look at those. Two things that Matt's definitely, I'm sure, would agree with us is that if you can customize your project, that adds huge value. But customizing it, of course, can be quite time consuming. And if the time creeps up and the value of the product stays the same, then you lose your profit margin. So Beck's going to show you how to take some of the tools in Vectric to do this magical mix of both producing customized materials, customized products, but actually very efficiently. Then an interesting one that, again, like I said, one of the things, the opportunities we can take with this online meeting is to include people from Vectric who wouldn't normally be flying off to here, there, and everywhere to do presentations. And so we've invited the support team this time to be involved right from the beginning. So the whole team got together and they discussed the sort of things that they think, A, they wish that they'd known when they first encountered the software, and B, the things that they know a lot of people struggle with early on. So this is one in particular, if you're relatively new to the software, this is a great one because they'll talk you through a lot of things that will get you started much quicker if you follow along their guides. That's going to be presented by three of our support team, Navroop, David and Charlie. So again, I hope you'll enjoy that one. The next talk after that, again, is another guest speaker. This time it's back to Sammy and Corey, and this time they're going to be looking at metal cutting. So having done the advanced toolpathing related to that plywood and plastics, they're going to come back and look at metals, which again introduces, for those of you who have tried it will know, a set of other considerations that you really need to think about. So they'll give you some top tips about that. And then appropriately, we're going to finish with finishing. So Michael is an absolute master of some crazy finishing techniques. So he's going to talk you through a whole variety of ways to take that piece of wood off your machine and really add the final touches, everything from simple lacquers all the way up to some of these faux metals and all sorts. So a really good way to finish, and we hope you're really going to enjoy that. And there should be something in those 3 days that you'll each find interesting. So all that remains for me to do at this point, because I have to prep now, so that in 30 minutes I will be rejoining you for what's new. So yeah, please do join me in about 30 minutes time. But for now, I just want to say, firstly, welcome to everybody from all around the world who's joining us for this adventure over the next 3 days. We're delighted to have you along with us. And also I want to say again, thank you to all of those contributing. So that means contributing upfront, like the partners and friends from the CNC world that we've already talked about in those presentations, but also I want to thank in advance all of you for contributing. We really, really do know that what will make this event work is your contributions. So thank you in advance. And I look forward to chatting with as many of you as I can over the next 3 days on the various platforms that we have available. Okay, well, thanks very much, and I'll see you again over the next 3 days.